try and do our best to get through an introduction to IGCSE in the first hour. With us is our veritable and erstwhile principal, Mr. Sean Hutchinson. Thank you for coming along, Mr. Hutchinson. Did you want to say anything before we start? Mr.
No,
Hutchinson?
just a nice warm welcome to families. Nice to see folks joining this afternoon, and I'm sure that this afternoon's session will be very beneficial indeed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. So what I'm going to do, everybody, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look through a presentation on years 10 and 11, the IGCSE. I think if Mr. Hutchinson, can you see my screen right now?
Yes, great, thank you.
Okay, so the format of today's presentation, it's a presentation of facts, choices and options, and then towards the end I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the timeline, about how we go about making these choices. Very important choices for students in year 10, for year 9 going into year 10 next year, and year 11 going into 12. That's for the diploma one a bit later on. So year 9 students going into year 10, the important choices that they're going to have to make and consider. So really that timeline is a really important integral part of the presentation, because we don't want to make any rash choices. We want to consider things, talk about them, and I'm going to tell you how we've built that into the timeline to help your children make the choices that are right for them. Okay, so the IGCSE, the International General Certificate in Secondary Education, it's offered by the Cambridge Examination Board. The basics of it are, it's a subject curriculum set by the Cambridge Assessment International Group, CAIE. Just so that you know, I am the person, the school representative, who has all of the Cambridge dealings. So I pass the information that comes my way and get it out to you. I register the students for their exams, and I make sure that everything is tickety-boo. It's a 2-year course of study. It is recognized throughout the world. It's one of the oldest examination systems in the world. Students generally take between 6 to 8 subjects and examinations. Now, none of the examinations are compulsory. You can sit the courses, decide not to sit the exams at the end of the day, but obviously one of the great advantages of taking the course is that when you've got a certificate and you've been awarded the certificate by Cambridge, it looks great on your school transcript, especially if you're applying to the United Kingdom for a university course. Compulsory courses in year 9 and 10, English as a second language, mathematics, coordinated science, Bahasa Indonesia, Mandarin or Indonesian as a foreign language, and global perspectives. Global perspectives, if you're not familiar with that phrase, you would probably understand it as a combination of geography and history, very much with a 21st century perspective. By the way, just to let you know, please add some questions to the Q&A if you have any. I believe there's a Q&A button somewhere in the participants panel. So options against the compulsory: art and design, chemistry, economics, physical education, design and technology, music, and physics. Obviously, depending on your son or daughter's particular skills and talents, what their thoughts are about what they're going to do when they finish mainstream schooling, whether they want to go on to study at a higher level, then these choices of complementary sciences or arts or languages, it's very important that they have some options available to them. So what happens with IGCSE assessment in year 10? And it's internal assessment only. We've got reports, as I'm sure you all know, now in December and in June. Then in year 11, we have mock examinations, and our mocks this year will be March 22nd to 26th. So for parents of year 9 children going up into year 10 for next year, you can assume that the mock exams in year 11 for your son or daughter will be around about the same time. What that does is it puts the exams or the mock exams not right up to the actual exams, but close enough so that the experience of the mock examinations is helpful to them rather than being set a long time in advance. The external examinations, the dates themselves are set by Cambridge, but usually at the beginning of May through to June. Some courses have work that's submitted, that's done in school, work that's done internally and then submitted to Cambridge for evaluation and moderation. So PE, English, music and art are some examples of those. And the teachers in the school and myself having oversight over the Cambridge examinations will make sure that all of the internal assessment work is done on time and to the highest possible quality. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit broader than the IGCSE right now. We're going to talk about the high school diploma. And it's one of my particular interests over the next couple of years is that at ACG School Jakarta, we do help students and parents understand just how important it is that they see the high school experience as a 4-year experience, not an IGCSE and Ibdp experience of 2 years plus 2 years. The reason I want to emphasize this is because all universities, if your son or daughter decides to go on to a university to study, all of them are going to be looking 4 years of transcripts. Virtually all universities around the world will want to know what you've been doing and what grades you've been getting for the last 4 years, not just how you exit the school. So it's really important, not only for the ACG high school diploma, that you leave our high school with a diploma, but you go with a transcript that's going to help you to do what it is you want to do. So these are the requirements. This is where the transcript begins in year 10. 1 credit is awarded for the successful completion of a full year course. So half a semester, 1 semester will get you half a credit if you finish it successfully, and the other half credit will come from the 2nd semester. Students should achieve a 2 in IGCSE letter grades, that's an F, or higher to be awarded a subject credit. So this is one of the reasons we want to encourage students to be looking at their grades. Obviously, it's important from year 7, but we want to pay particular attention from year 10. These are the credits. Let's just go onto the next page and you can see a first language. Over the 4 years, you need 4 credits. Mathematics, you need 3 credits. Second language, 3 credits. Sciences, 3 credits. Social sciences, 3 credits. And then in your optional subjects, physical education, you can get between 1 or 4, depending on the combinations of subjects that you've chosen. The arts, again, 1 to 4. Design technology, 1 to 4. Technology, 1 to 2 credits. Theory of knowledge, which is in the IB diploma program, that's 1 to 2 credits. Research paper or extended essay, 1 to 2 credits. Again, that's in your years 12 and 13. Castle Community Service, 1 to 2 credits, and extra maths is 1 extra credit. So that's where you get your optional 8 credits from. So what happens after this presentation? So two things, well, 3 things, I suppose. 3 things are going to happen next. We're going to have a Q&A, so you can ask myself any questions you like about the IGCSE program or the timeline. But the immediate timeline, obviously today, 8th of December, this is my program presentation to parents and any students who are here. On the 8th of January, I'm going to make another presentation to students in the advisory session. And that's where we're going to give them the actual choices form that will be distributed digitally at the moment. If by some small miracle we're all in school on January the 8th, then we will give them a good old-fashioned piece of paper. After you've been looking at these choices over the winter holiday, and the reason I'm saying that is that by the 11th of December, which is Friday, our last day in school, I'm going to send you an example of the form that you'll be filling in, and I'm going to be sending you this presentation so that you can refer to it when you discuss this with your children over the winter break. And then on the 15th of January, I want to get round 1 of choices. So you'll make your choices, or the students will make their choices, and then they will book in sessions with myself to talk about why they've made the choices they have, and then we'll take that conversation a little bit further. There might be email conversation or even a Zoom conversation with home if we think there's reason to make some adjustments to it, even if we think it's absolutely spot on and perfect for your son or daughter. We have chance to revisit these choices by 5th of February. If any changes have been made, you can put those on round 2's choice form. There's your mock exams in March, and then straight after the mock exams, that's when we're going to have had plenty of opportunities for conversations about the choices, how the choices fit in to plans into year 12 and 13 and beyond, and whether or not these are the correct choices or if there's maybe a better combination. So basically, at any point between now and April, my door is open, my Teams door, sorry, my Zoom door and my actual door is open all of the time. If you want to talk about anything at all, even before these choice forms have come back, I'd be more than happy to welcome the call and have that conversation with you about what you're thinking of doing. That's from a student's perspective. Of course, I do want the parents there as well, but I'm particularly interested in what the student is thinking. So that's it. The sample forms and presentation will be coming out to you by Friday. I will obviously put the link, there it is, Cambridge Assessment International Education for the IGCSEs. Go and have a look on the website. You can download any number of their syllabi, and you can have a look at how the courses are structured and what the content is like. If you want to do that kind of reading over the holidays to prepare yourself for making some choices. Okay, so let me go and see if we've got some questions. So
I've already answered some questions in the chat.
That's very nice of you. So which ones did you answer, Mr. Hutchinson?
So just a correction in the options slide, physics and chem are no longer options because all students will take coordinated science. The coordinated science is a course where students take all 3 sciences, chemistry, physics and biology, up to IGCSE qualification level. So that was one. In terms of the slide or the presentation itself, that will be sent out to all families in years 9 and then of course a later session this afternoon for Year 11 families. So we'll send that out on Friday. And the other question was in relation to mock exam. Mock exams are primarily for our next audience at 4 o'clock. Our Year 9 students do not have mock exams. They work through semester 2 until the end of May, and then they begin end of year exams.
Thank you. Saved me a job there, Mr. Hutchinson.
That's
yes,
right.
the mock exams are important in the timeline, just so that you know what's going on in school with reference to the IGCSE, and so that you know what's going to be happening 2 years down the line for current Year 9 students.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't I stop sharing my screen, and I'm putting on my face the expression that says, please ask me questions. It's a beautiful, deafening silence, Mr. Hutchinson.
Yeah, I can feel the science a little bit if you like. Just one thing I think that's worth mentioning, and I guess I'm really talking from a parent's perspective in relation to IGCSE qualifications. And for those of you who are perhaps not familiar with British qualifications, the IGCSE is the international equivalent of the GCSE. But from my point of view, both my girls have gone through IGCSE programs, and one of the advantages of working through IGCSE level courses for my girls has been a time or a period of time in their schooling where they have developed important skills around understanding how to learn. So not only understanding or developing an understanding of content and skills, but it's the skills that come along with working through these courses. So time management skills, the ability to prepare for examinations or tests or coursework that is going to be externally assessed. So I've got one daughter is at the end of IGCSE, so she will take her external exams in May, and I've got another one in Year 13, and so the preparation, I guess, for the IB program through the IGCSE courses is relevant and quite useful for a lot of students. So for those of you who are in the audience and kind of not quite sure what these courses are, I think first and foremost, focus on the high school diploma element, which is making sure that over Year 10 and Year 11, your student, your son or daughter is achieving at a particular level to obtain the credits. The actual external assessment and qualification of the IGCSEs is something that we can continue to talk about, but they are useful in terms of preparation or application, preparation for your university applications. But most importantly, what I've found as a parent is that they're very good courses to prepare students for fairly rigorous academic program with the International Baccalaureate Diploma program.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that, Mr. Hutchinson. My own children did not study IGCSEs. When they were at school, they went through the IB MYP, and I'll be frank, in my opinion, it wasn't academically rigorous enough for them. So even though, yeah, it's not the Cambridge syllabi are not designed to fit with the IB diploma, but as Mr. Hutchinson says, it really is great preparation, because you're getting used to rigorous content, rigorous skills testing, and rigorous process testing as well. So Yes, and it's highly respected as well around the world. So it can't be a bad thing.
And I think perhaps the other thing to mention, Richard, for parents who are thinking about the types of courses that their students, that their children may want to take, it gives us a little bit more information at the end of the IGCSE program about what courses a student may take at IBDP level. So, for example, if a student is taking extended mathematics at IGCSE level and achieves a D, for example, then it's not impossible, but it's unlikely that the student is going to be prepared for a higher level math course at IBDP, for example. And so it gives us a pretty good indication of kind of where the student is at academically at the end of that 2-year period. Doesn't mean that it's that it's placing students in a particular pathway, but when we do talk about IBDP subject selections, we do have to be realistic and practical and make sure that students are selecting subjects where that they enjoy, but also that they feel confident that they're going to perform well in. So the IGCSE results are a good gauge for us to have that conversation with our sons and daughters.
Yeah,
An interesting question. Yeah, go for it, Mr. Todd.
well, I just wanted to use that opportunity to reiterate what you were saying, Sean, about it being to consider the 4-year element of this. It's a fantastic opportunity to start a conversation with your your year 9 son or daughter about what it is they enjoy, what it is they're good at, and how they can shape that into some kind of a plan over the next 4 years, so that you're having really meaningful conversations about the subjects they're choosing in order to help them develop and improve and make progress. Because one of the things I'm having conversations now with 12s that are year 12s that are really, really important conversations about having choice. And students who have choice, and I mean earned choice through good results and good attendance and good activities at school and things like that. Those are the students who I think feel most empowered through their education and most most emancipated. They've got an opportunity to make responsible choices about things that will determine certain things about their lives. So it's the right time to be using a conversation like this to consider, these subjects.
Richard, I have a question.
Yeah.
So ICGSE, ICG,
IGCSE.
IGCSE.
Yeah.
Bit of a mouthful. Is it? I mean, do I assume it's equivalent to the Cambridge A levels?
No, thank you, David. Good question. These IGCSEs would be equivalent to what you might know as O levels.
O levels, okay.
So that's the age-appropriate examination level. The International Baccalaureate Diploma program, in terms of age level, is the equivalent
of A levels. So
of A levels, yeah.
Yeah. So the ICGSE, when in what? So I assume there's an exam, and in which grade would they be sitting for those exams?
At the end of year 11, anywhere between, it's actually April and June. Towards the end of April, that's usually when the exams are sat.
Okay, so it's year 13 that they would sit for the equivalent of the A levels.
Yes, diploma exams are in May and June of year 13. Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of, I mean, we don't really call it O levels or A levels. I guess they have their own
No, well, I think that I don't even know that in England they refer to it, or the UK they refer to them as O levels. And I think A levels is still a phrase that's used, but that's very definitely for the UK. If they do use O levels, then that's within the UK. But they're GCSEs. I think they changed to GCSEs shortly after I left school. So you've got a real long legacy memory there, calling them O levels.
O levels still exist. In fact, Cambridge examination boards still run O level qualifications in certain subjects.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to establish, because I know in Commonwealth countries, at least at a colloquial level, people still refer to them as that, and but I don't know at an institutional level whether they have the same, they mean the same thing, you know.
I mean, essentially, you're talking about the same academic level of achievement. But the Cambridge as an organisation, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do offer quite a raft of differently targeted niche examinations for different parts of the world. So it's more a matter of making sure that we understand what we're talking about rather than a difference in level.
Yeah.
Was that about right, Sean?
Yes, absolutely. There is one question related to exams, and that is, can the mock exams be done online if we are not in Jakarta? We're not going to make that decision now. Obviously, we are hoping that we will be able to run those mock exam sessions at school in preparation for the external IGCSE exams in the end of April, beginning of May, June. But we will make that decision in 2021 once we get an update from Cambridge. But yeah, for now, Cambridge have indicated that external exams will go ahead in May, June, which means that our mock exam sessions are likely to run on campus. However, we've got a little way to go before we get to that point. And if we do have students who are not in country, then we will have individual conversations with them to try and make some arrangements there. There are Cambridge exam centres in different parts of the world. Some centres do accommodate private or external candidates. So in some cases, we may be able to identify an exam centre in your home country in order for your son or daughter to take the exams there. But mock exams are something that we run internally. So it would more than likely be done on campus or remotely, as we did with mid-year exams.
Yeah, the organisation of mock exams and real exams, it's going to be logistically interesting, but it is a challenge we desperately want. We do want people to be back on campus. So all through the winter break, please cross your fingers and your toes.
Wonder if there are any other questions that people have about IGCSE courses, qualifications. You've done a pretty good job, Mr. Todd.
Teamwork, Mr. Hutchinson.
So I think one of the important things is to talk to your kids. So I'll leave it for you, Mr. Todd, to wind up if you like, and then we'll go from there. Yep.
Yeah, just to reiterate that sentiment, obviously with year 9 age children, they do need a lot of guidance. I would like to think that what we're starting to develop in the school is the idea that the guidance comes from open conversations where young people are sharing what it is they feel really strongly about what they'd like to do. So please, when I send this presentation out in the next couple of days with the list, the sample form, don't send the form back. It will say specimen on it or something like that. Just talk about it. Talk about where certain subjects might lead to in terms of the things that they can do when they eventually leave school, why it might be valuable in its own right to study something. Just have those conversations, and then we'll get a little bit closer towards students being more involved in making decisions, because that's what we need them to do, amongst other things, is to be okay with making decisions once they're out there in the big wide world. So thank you very much for attending. Please don't hesitate to send myself any further questions if you think of something later, which is often the case, I know that. And we will make this video available at some point in the next couple of days too. So thank you very much. Have a lovely Tuesday evening and a great winter break when it finally arrives on Friday. Thank you very much.